you are here now to discuss a show which no one has really been discussing lately, is Vanderpump Rules.
Oh, David, I'm so excited to talk with you about all things VPR. I was not going to watch this season actually at all
Okay.
because I am captivated by Stassi Schroeder, and I do think Jax makes for great television. I think Kristen Doty gave us many gifts. And so I assumed that without them on the show would be just terrible, like basically unwatchable. And so I didn't even watch until, we discussed maybe doing a
State of the
podcast
Union.
about it. Yeah, State of the Union, exactly. So I'm grateful because I am loving this season. And I'm so excited to talk to you about it. Like, I can't believe it. I'm shocked.
Okay, so why and because of what?
Because, okay, so before we get into any specific drama, I think that, yes, it's true that the cast does appear to be a cast. It does not have the same magic as the early seasons of Vanderpump Rules. In the same way that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, seems like they're a cast. It does not have the same magic as the early seasons when we were just following like very rich women in their lives, and like true sister relationships. So I will say that, this does seem like a cast filming a show. They don't seem like they're all natural friends who really want to hang out. But that said, there's very real human drama happening, and I find it quite interesting to watch. And so I think that, the infertility journey, I'm blanking, with Tom and Katie is very interesting. I think that the Scheana and Brock drama is utterly captivating. I think Lala has basically supplanted Stassi as basically the head bitch in town.
Right.
And I'm loving this season. I really am. There's enough to chew on. That's what I have to say so far.
Okay, I need to maybe revisit this season.
Have you watched it?
Yes. Okay, now I've watched. I have a guest coming up from Vanderpump Rules. I did just sit down with a lovely person from Vanderpump Rules. And I don't know. You might be liking it better than me. You might.
Interesting. Okay, so what do you not like right now?
And I also have to say that the ratings at least were in the toilet. I don't know where they are now, but it started with half of the audience. So we had this big upcry in New York that like only 700,000 people were watching instead of 1.2. Well, Vanderpump Rules is like 6 something. So I don't know why we don't have a crisis over that.
Well, I think it started off as a very sleepy season. Like, I would say that the first 2 episodes were pretty boring. And then now, like, because I kind of binge watched the whole thing, like there was plenty to chew on by the time I got caught up. But yeah, the first couple of episodes, I mean, it's just like baby news, and that's about it. Boring James and Raquel.
You know what I don't love? I don't love that it's like it started filming and then LA shut down again, and so we had to pivot and we had to go to Palm. Like, just being in this space, like I could notice these fake things about the reality TV. So it's like LA opened and closed, opened and closed, opened and closed. They couldn't make up their minds. And so like when they started filming and then it did shut down again, they couldn't film at SUR. And now we're in Palms. Like this is not like the Housewives, let's go on our trip in like episode 10. It's like, where's SUR? Like we're on our trip in like episode 2. So that to me was like, oh, you can't film. And it's just kind of like, I get it. Like it doesn't have to stay true to its original formula. But I mean, what happened to a bunch of like not rich, struggling people working in a restaurant? This is not.
Right. No, that dream is dead. It's over. Like that, it's the magic of this early show is completely gone. So if anyone still has a pipe dream that it's ever going to come back, you need to get with it, because it's not. But what we do have, like, I agree with you. A lot of it seems very manufactured. Like my favorite thing is when Lisa Vanderpump is FaceTiming Scheana and they're like catching up like they're besties, which is hilarious to me because without being on a show together, I don't see a world where Lisa is inviting Scheana over to catch up and to hang out. Like, not a chance. That is not her milieu. But what I do think is interesting is, like, yes, we have this manufactured tea party with the whole cast there. It's just, you know, them clearly filming a scene. But in that scene, we have Lala Kent going after Scheana's very real problems with her baby daddy. And that is very interesting. So I think that even though part of it's are manufactured, there's really enough, you know, real problems happening. So I can get past the veneer of fakeness.
I mean, maybe I need to think about it as the season goes on and I watch that, and like maybe I'll then say, wow, this is like real life and I can't believe we're watching this. Maybe I'll have like a resurgence on that sense.
One thing that's very interesting for me to watch, and maybe in a dark way, is just how these people are like pseudo rich. Like they all have like they're, you know, Valley View homes or whatever. They're like 3-bedroom, like, you know, I'm a renter, so full disclosure, but they've got their homes, and then they've all got like Jettas. Like, I don't know if you saw that, but like when they drove to Palm Springs, like there was like a Passat and like a Touareg. Anyways, I just think it's funny to see how they like grow up, how they've grown up into kind of like, you know, upper middle class, pseudo rich, like terrible, but they still all have terrible taste. Like Katie Maloney's styling escapes me every single season. I do not understand how this woman, you know, probably has access to a stylist, definitely has more money than I do, and she's wearing boa sleeves and a purple pants.
With a Nancy Grace haircut.
Yes, and this is going to be like so superficial. I just don't know how she scored Tom Schwartz. I don't understand it. I mean, I guess he's not some great prize either with his, but I don't know. Tom Schwartz is cute. I mean, he's loyal.
Right. But he's also kind of pathetic.
Yeah, exactly. He's like not a man. Like this is the thing. This is the thing, David. And I'll tell you, this is your problem with Vanderpump. You're not a straight woman. I'm sorry to tell you, it's just not, you're not a straight woman. And so you don't get it on some level. Like,
apparently,
like, okay, when it comes to Tom Schwartz, I'm sorry, I hope he never listens to this podcast, but like, I cannot imagine respecting someone less than Tom Schwartz. He literally cannot stand up for himself about the most minor of issues. He's a complete doormat. And so that is why, you know, I think most women would not actually be attracted to him if they got into an actual relationship with him. And in addition, and so I think that's one thing that maybe you're not really seeing. And then also when it comes to like the Scheana drama, I think that, like, I'm a 31-year-old woman. I can understand how the stakes would feel so high. She's like 35, finally having her first child. I can understand how the stakes for her in her life feel so incredibly high that this relationship work out, that, you know, if she, you know, this is probably her shot at like having a family that sticks together. And it being like kind of decimated by this show is very captivating television. And I think maybe that's why you're not so riveted by it, is because you don't really like, you can't put yourself in her shoes the way that I can, since I'm so close to her demographic. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Can we talk though a little bit about Brock's issues?
Yeah, sure.
Because here's the thing. My initial read of Brock was that he was a really sweet guy. And I was like, okay, Scheana's found someone who, like, you know, is more her speed. This like Aquaman lookalike, whatever. Like, I can't imagine dating someone with that long of hair, but that's another issue. But if you look closely at like what he's saying about this entire domestic battery abuse situation, which is like, that's a heavy charge. It's weird because Scheana, like, his whole excuse for leaving his family in Australia is that, like, I was coming to America to like have a better life, but like Australia is not a third world country, and this isn't 1945, and the American dream is not living in Valley View and being on a reality TV show about, you know, a restaurant with goat cheese balls. So like that excuse to me of like he was coming to America to have a better life, it's like, what?
I know, he sounds like he's like escaping North Korea.
Literally. And yeah, he goes, she felt like I abandoned her and the kids by coming to America. Well, it's like, yeah, you did. You literally left the other side of the world to go to another like developed country and live there for good.
And then where a place where you never sent any money back.
Yes.
Like allegedly. You did not fulfill your child support. So the whole purpose that you are trying to say that this was for didn't end up getting fulfilled. And he didn't come here for better opportunities. He came here because he wanted to be a celebrity and wanted to live in LA.
Right.
So,
and I will say, I mean, David,
Brock, listen, Brock does, I mean, I hope Scheana's happy, but like Brock does nothing for me when he's on the screen. I mean, I just like, he is like Jenny Nguyen for me in Salt Lake. I just tune out.
Right.
I know.
Right.
I mean, it's nothing personal. I can't help it. It's like nobody's speaking.
Right.
I mean, I think that it was just so hilarious that he thought that he could confide in Lala about his dark past and that wouldn't be brought up on the show. Like,
I mean, poor idiot.
Oh, seriously, hilarious.
Poor idiot.
I mean, also, it is rich for Lala to be like, you know, you're a mother now. And now that I'm a mother, her whole shtick about being a different woman because she's a mother is a little bit annoying to me. And the way she talks down to Scheana when Lala is literally with a man who also abandoned his family, you know, like, I guess he didn't move to another country, but he still left his family for Lala.
He definitely, I wouldn't say he abandoned his kids because he does seem like a good dad, but he was willing to, you know, completely dismantle their world to be with his mistress who he's allegedly cheated on. So
she's not exactly dating father of the year. That's all.
Well,
or married to, I guess.
Especially now with everything that's unfolding. Like we don't know what's going on, but I don't know. That's another one. People think that's a publicity stunt.
Well, okay. So I was going to ask you, if you have any inside tea on this, because I think it's real personally. But I'm very curious if you got any sort of DMs, if you have any insider scoop.
I mean, I have not talked to Randall or Lala just because they were on the show yet, but I kind of think it might be true too. I do.
I don't think that Lala, you know, it's very clear that Lala enjoys on the show being like a rich wife, you know, and being, or I guess fiance, and she likes her status and she wants everyone to adore Randall. And I don't think that she's probably one of the most interesting people to watch on that show. She didn't need to pull this to stay on. And so I think that, you know, I don't think that she would have sacrificed her relationship's dignity to, you know, pump up Vanderpump Rules ratings, especially when there's like, that's a non sequitur in itself because they're not even talking about this on the show. So why would people go watch the show if they're interested in this story? It's not even, it would be next season, I guess.
Right. Like there was no reason.